Hertz Arena in Estero, Florida is the location as we get set for USPHL hockey in the Florida Premier Division between the Florida Eels and the Florida Junior Blades. Happy Friday and welcome into the Florida Eels Broadcast Network. Nick Rush giving you the play-by-play. This matchup represents the second game of this evening's doubleheader as we recently saw the Eels elite team dominate the Junior Blades with the final score of 8-2. With the national anthem just moments away, let's give you the starters of tonight's action. We began with the hosting Junior Blades with a record of 0-2 on the young season. Starting at defense is Jonathan Cooper alongside Joey Fada. The Junior Blades are starting the three forwards Clyde Lindholm, Cameron Cruddo, and Carson Weingartner. The starting goaltender for the Blades, Keegan Wise, in his second consecutive start in between the pipes. He is also in year number 2 with the Junior Blades Premier squad. And for the Florida Eels with a record of 1-1, they're starting at defense Gage McNeish alongside Cade Swigert, and their three forwards starting regulation, TJ Zebley, Gage Dill, and Tyler Gay. Their starting goaltender is Liam O'Gwen. He is making his Florida Eels debut. He was just signed to the roster this week. He is a 6-foot, 180-pound athlete out of Basking Ridge, New Jersey, so we are very excited to see what he has to offer tonight. But we will step aside and come back in moments with the puck drop and the play-by-play of the action. From Hertz Arena in Estero, you are tuned in to the Florida Eels Broadcast Network. Welcome back to the Florida Eels Broadcast Network, where we are ready for your opening puck drop between the Florida Eels Premier team and the Florida Junior Blades. It is the first of two games on this weekend series at Hertz Arena in Estero, Florida. The Eels will move from right to left across your computer screen in the opening 20 minutes of play, donning their dark green jerseys with the black trim along the shoulders, white numbers on the back, black pants, white socks with the green stripe, and black helmets. Junior Blades skating from left to right, working with their gray uniforms, white trim along the shoulders, white numbers on the back, green pants, white socks, and white helmets. Players taking their positions out along the neutral zone, and we are underway. Junior Blades win the opening face-off, and the Eels immediately create the turnover courtesy of TJ Zebley. Zebley sparks the puck across the neutral zone before it's rolled back in to Junior Blades attacking territory. Wheeled onto the tape of the Junior Blades, Andrew Frost, and Frost knocks it back along the near end of the goal line. Coming out to play the puck, Liam O'Gwen in his Florida Eels goaltending debut. He was picked up earlier on this week, so we will get to see how this New Jersey native performs in his very first game in Southwest Florida. Teams getting the line changes rolling as we're just underway in the first period of this Premier game, 0-0 between the Eels and the Junior Blades. Ronnie Briganti shuffling the puck up the far boards in the Eels' own ice. Mikhail Melikov getting his first touch-up of the game, and he connects with Demid Podrazov. Podrazov, near side circle, tries to shimmy in the direction of Keegan Wise, and Wise is able to poke check it away out to center. Briganti dueling for it in front of penalty box boards, eventually freed up to the far circle. Tyler Gay can't cleanly play it. That leads to a 2-on-2 scramble along the near end of the goal line before Andrew Frost whips it back out across neutral ice. His shot goes wide right of Liam O'Gwen, and that is an icing call against the Blades. So that's your first stoppage in the opening portion of action. We're a minute and a half into the first. Junior Blades looking for redemption after falling 6-4 to this Eels team this past Sunday at the Fort Myers Stadium. That was the first matchup of the season between these two crosstown arch rivals. Clement Espinosa at the center of the blue line takes a shot off to the right side of Keegan Wise, and it's plummeted back across the center circle. Clement Espinosa takes over as he forwards the puck to Ryan Garral. Garral gets stuck at the enemy blue line in front of that Junior Blades bench, and the Blades take over from around their own end glass. Ronnie Briganti stuck with a defender in front. Bailey Kaiser with a little resistance, and he dunks the puck into the Junior Blades attacking end. Back to the center red. Jake Court sputters it backwards to Espinosa. Espinosa over to the far side circle, hammers a shot on, and squeezing the 5-hole together, Keegan Wise. 4-man jam to the near point. Junior Blades find some relief courtesy of Zach Pabis out at mid-rink. Jake Court getting another touch-up, having to shake off the body of Ashton King. Court finally has some running room to the left wing side, and his shot gets caught into the equipment of Keegan Wise. So we'll have this face-off to Wise's right side. Takes a moment, but the officials get play back underway. Cade Swigert has the puck play an odd hop on him, and he retrieves it back into Eels' own ice. To the right circle, Etienne Castengay is able to show up, places the puck in front of the penalty box boards, and the Eels are back to work on the offensive side. Lucas Humble chokes it up. Keegan Wise dumps the puck down the near boards. Big battle along the hash marks. Lucas Humble jumping in for the Eels. He sets it loose. Luke Jankowskis to the goal line. He's pressured up by Carson Weingartner. Shot coming from the sharp angle off the tape of Etienne Castengay. And this remains scoreless with 16:40 to go in the first. Clyde Lindholm getting onto the ice for the first time in the game. And the Eels are called with a delayed offside. Play moves on as the Junior Blades quarterback a new drive. Jonathan Cooper doing the honors, but the poke check is put into play by Lucas Humble. Humble behind the cage of O'Gwen. O'Gwen paddles it to his left wing corner. Another 4-man joust. TJ Zebley victorious for the Eels as he goes tape to tape to Trevor Voida at the center red. Voida pitches it forward. Wasn't able to reach out to Gage Dill. Dill circling around the Eels end zone before the Junior Blades stymie it back out to neutral ice. Trevor Voida collides with Jonathan Cooper. Cooper the other direction. High slot he goes, and his shot soars over the head of Liam O'Gwen. Puck gets shot into Liam O'Gwen's direction. He punches out of midair, and Ronnie Brigante strokes the biscuit out to the neutral zone. TJ Zebley taken to the ice by Cameron Cruddo, and the referee blows the whistle. That was right as TJ Zebley was crossing the blue line, and we weren't able to see the exact reasoning for the stoppage, but it appears to be offside against the Eels. So the Eels take this draw as they are looking into attacking ice. Justin Marazek wins the faceoff for the Eels. Junior Blades tip it back in their favor, however. Matt Walters along the far side gets ran into by Ryan Garral. Eels regrouping on their own end. Hodges off with a rink-wide feed to Espinosa, and Espinosa gets in a foot race from one end to the other. His shot wide in the net. Rebound on the other end. Wouldn't go from Tyler Gay. 2-on-2 for the Blades. James McGovern leading the charge along the far hash. Centering feed goes awry as he was looking for Andrew Frost. Still no goals to be seen in this game. 14:35 left on that first period clock. Mikhail Melikov with his first shot of the game. Andrew Frost with a 360 on his own near hash marks. Over on the right half wall, Tristan Roos working his way past traffic. He takes a sharp angle shot, and Keegan Wise places the puck under his glove as the whistle sounds. Let's introduce you to the head coaches tonight for the Eels. It's Frankie Scarpacci guiding the benches. He's been a part of this Eels organization since 2006. when the team relocated from Ellington to Fort Myers. He was a player back in those days before he became a coach for the organization. Cade Swigert with a big shot from the midpoint, and it's blockered aside by Keegan Wise. Big scramble along the near end wall. Ryan Garral picks it free, and he's eventually hindered by Joey Fada. Fada rinses the puck to the neutral zone. Eels recover with Cade Swigert doing the honors. Swigert fights it forward, but too many Junior Blades out in front. Weingartner picks it out in front of the Junior Blades bench. Big poke check by Gage McNeish, and turnovers go back and forth in the opening 7 minutes of play. Gage McNeish lowering the shoulder into Jonathan Cooper along the near end of the goal line. Eels with their backs to their own zone, and an errant pass out to center gives the Eels some relief and a line change to go along with it. Ronnie Brigante chasing after the puck behind O'Gwen's net, but he doesn't have to worry as the icing is issued to the Blades. Currently the shots on goal read at 5-0 in favor of the Eels. The bench boss of the Junior Blades is Rob Weingartner, who just wrapped up coaching the Junior Blades elite team. They fell to the Florida Eels 8-2 in a game which wrapped up just about an hour ago. Rob Weingartner played minor professional hockey from 1992 to 2000. Eels continue to apply pressure in the enemy ice. Junior Blades flank it around the near hash. Four-man battle. Luke Jankowskis kicks it away into his favor. Jankowskis going up against Blake Bennett behind the net. Jankowskis maintains control before Bennett twirls it out along the center circle. Trevor Voida slams the puck to the near corner, and another stoppage of play is issued. Zach Pappas got tripped up after the whistle by Ronnie Brigante, and that results in an infraction against Brigante and the Eels. Well, the sight of Zach Pappas hitting the ice definitely got quite a rise out of the Eels bench, but now they are in an unpleasant situation, down a man for the next 2 minutes. Still remains scoreless. 12:35 until the first period is all said and done. And we have an extended stoppage as you have TJ Zebley in front of the scorer's table for the Eels. Clyde Lindholm is off to his left side, getting the explanation from the Blades. And as the discussion continues, it turns out that there's a penalty against Zach Pappas of the Blades as well. So it's not a power play for the Blades, but rather 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes. Players return out to the ice. They congregate in the near side circle on the Junior Blade side. Justice Shulkin takes the draw for the Eels, and he comes up victorious. Slap shot comes, and Keegan Wise is able to squeeze the 5-hole shut. Hustling the other direction, Cameron Crow, save made, rebound, and a goal. One-time drive executed by Carson Weingartner, and he makes it 1-0 Blades, 12:19 to go in the first. Liam O'Gwen was way off to the near post and just couldn't center himself by the time Weingartner came swooping in. So it's a powerful start for the Junior Blades, as we were only 15 seconds into 4-on-4. The following draw won by Clyde Lindholm of the Blades. Puck is fed over to the far side circle. Eels get to work with Cade Swigert trying to go coast to coast. Swigert halted at the left wing half wall. Gage still trying to back him up on the other end as the Junior Blades rinse the disc out to the neutral zone. So the goal announcement is being made. Weingartner has the goal, as we mentioned moments ago. Cameron Croto is announced as the assistant. Meanwhile, Gage Dill trying to dominate in front of Keegan Wise. He's shut down. And Trevor Voida forwards the puck in front of the Florida Eels bench. Man open, that's TJ Zebley. Make that Tristan Roost. And we have another blow of the whistle coming. So the Eels are working from behind. They trail 1-0 as we approach the halfway marker of the first. Face-off coming to the right of Keegan Wise. Puck is stroked over to the left wing corner. Blake Bennett maneuvers it up the opposing end. Out to center, Dylan Holtberg with opposition from Jake Court. Sliced back over for Holtberg before he's picked off by Trevor Voida. Voida long distance searching for Tristan Roos. Save made, rebound, and a save. Keegan Wise not able to hang on, and Cade Swigert regroups for the Eels across the center red. He takes a 360. Trevor Voida heading off on the line change. He takes a switch with Gage McNeish. McNeish presses ahead. He connects with Tristan Roos in the left circle. Cade Swigert going long distance, and Keegan Wise traps the puck in his equipment. We're back to 5-on-5, and the clock is running even during this stoppage. The Junior Blades bench is shouting for the scorekeeper's attention, and finally it is stopped at 10:20. Face off along the left side. Poke back up to the blue line. Cade Swigert can't keep it into the Eels end zone. D-to-D pass to Gage McNeish, and McNeish flutters the puck back out to center. Could be a 2-on-1 for the Eels, but they are called offside. Mikhail Melikov with some extracurricular activities with Ashton King after the whistle. So we have frequent stoppages as play keeps on rolling. 7-1 are the shots on goal in favor of the Eels. Face-off coming in the Junior Blades side. And Gage McNeish is the first one to touch up on it. Mikhail Melikov getting locked up in King's skates. King frees it in front of the scorer's table. He eventually laces it behind Liam O'Gwen's net. Right around the end wall is Cade Swigert. Mikhail Melikov showcasing his footwork out to center ice. Junior Blades barely able to keep it across the blue line. Andrew Frost making it happen. Frost along to the far hash. Gets poke checked by Cade Swigert, who heads off on the line change. Mikhail Melikov banks it off of the far wall. Gage Dill narrowly avoiding the offside call for the Eels as he holds back out at center. Physicality really starting to come up as we have four different men going at each other. Eventually, they all move their separate ways. Frost was really getting into it with the Eels' Clement Espinos. Errant pass from the Eels' end, but the icing is negated. So TJ Zebley maneuvers from the far corner, angles his way in, but his rink-wide feed, nobody was on the other side. We have a 2-on-2. Junior Blades in control. James McGovern leading the charge, but space eventually closed up on him. Cly Lindholm, tape-to-tape with Cameron Croto. Croto backpedals into the Junior Blades territory. Near half wall for Joey Fada. Fada ran into by Tyler Gay, and the Junior Blades are just pinballing the puck all around their own territory. Eventually Carson Weingartner out to center. It's a breakaway for Fada. Fada low slot forehander, and he lost the puck. Joey Fada lost control, and this remains a one-goal game in favor of the Blades. 2-on-2 scramble behind O'Gwen's net. Risen back up top with a slap shot coming from Blake Bennett, but it's ricocheted by traffic in between the circles. Bennett's rebounder would not go. To the far hash. Intercepted by Tristan Roos. Roos banks off the far boards into the clutches of Tyler Gay. Gay floats it behind Keegan Wise's net, and Wise will fly the puck on out to the Junior Blades blue line. Into the Eels territory we go. Brigante knocked down, point blank shot. Gets denied by O'Gwen. Blake Bennett able to pull the trigger. Court circling his way out along the center line. Both teams continue to give it back and forth with one another. Cameron Crutto puts the brakes on near end of the goal line, chucks it up top to Holtberg. Holtberg making his rounds to the far circle, tried to rim it around the end glass, but Cade Swigert was in the way. 6 minutes, 50 seconds left in the first. It's 1-0 Blades. Court searching for the equalizer, and he is sandwiched between a pair of men in the low slot. Popped up in midair and played off with a high stick by Tristan Roos. That prompts a halt in the action. Etienne Castengay returning to the ice for the Eels alongside Luke Jankowskis, a 16-year-old on this Florida Eels Premier team. It's not something you don't see too often. 16-year-olds, those are players who are brand new to the junior game, but Jankowskis really impressed head coaches Frank Scarpacci and Alex Sanchez over the 3-week training camp last month that he earned a spot on the Premier squad as the one and only 16-year-old on that Premier Eels roster. O'Gwen tried to rim it out of his own zone, but there was a Junior Blade standing right there. Clyde Lindholm popped the puck off of his chest. He'll take a slap shot from the near end of the blue line, and that's into the vicinity of Cade Swigert. Another slap shot coming off the tape of Andrew Frost, and O'Gwen squeezes tight. Florida Eels switching out men on the benches. They sit off to the right side of my broadcast position. Junior Blades to the left. And it appears that Liam O'Gwen is having some difficulty with his equipment. He is taking off his right leg pad and retying it on. So players will wait around along the near wall. Tonight's game between the Eels and Blades is just one of two in the USPHL Florida division. Beginning their game just about 5 minutes from now are the Tampa Bay Juniors and the Charleston Colonials, with those two ready to get underway at Advent Health Center Ice in Wesley Chapel, Florida. Strung out to mid-rink, Mikhail Melikov tried to go long distance for Demid Podrazov to no avail. And that's another icing against the Eels. It's nice to see Demid Podrazov onto the ice tonight, along with Trevor Voida. These are two Eels players who initially picked up game misconducts this past Sunday during the Eels 6-4 win over the Junior Blades. Initially, Trevor Voida had a game misconduct for a charging incident, and Demid Podrazov got kicked out for fighting with an initial one-game suspension. That has been reversed, however, as Mikhail Melikov loops his way into the Florida Eels end zone. Jankowskis with a shot on. Rebounder doesn't happen from Tyler Gay, and Junior Blades could have a breakaway if they hurry. It's a backhanded pass to Lindholm, and his rink-wide feed gets interrupted. 2-on-2 for the Eels. Podrazov shares it back to Melikov. Melikov along the halfway marker of that near dasher. Junior Blades hanging around their end wall. Eventually forked out the neutral zone. Joey Fada. TJ Zebley gets the best of him. He creeps in and eventually Keegan Wise is able to put the play to bed. But there is a penalty called, and it is a hook, which will go against the Florida Junior Blades. This penalty goes against a number 5 for the Junior Blades, who is not on our game day roster. However, we will listen and try to identify who that player is via public address system. That is Zach Pappas. Pappas on our game day roster as number 2. Tonight he is number 5, however, for the game. So Pappas is the perpetrator, and the Eels head to their first power play of the night. They creep in with a shot from the low slot and a goal. That is a goal as bizarre as they come. It was scored along the far goal line and somehow tucked in by Jake Court. It's the equalizer just 27 seconds into the man advantage, 1-1. 4:31 frozen on that first period clock as Zach Pappas vacates the sin bin. The puck was placed right through Keegan Wise's 5-hole, but the Junior Blades march on in the offensive ice. Weingartner guilty of being offside. Well, the Florida Eels, they came into the night 3 for 6 on the man advantage after their first 2 games. They can now make that 4 for 7 after that power play tally courtesy of Jake Court. Marched ahead by TJ Zebley in front of the Florida Eels bench, and it's eventually swiped aside by the Junior Blades Pappas. Gage Dill collides with a man along the right side of the blue line. Big slap shot comes from Andrew Frost, and Liam O'Gwen tucks it away. Gage Dill exchanging some shoves back and forth with Weingartner, and those two are eventually separated by the linesman. That results in penalty trouble as Gage Dill is being escorted to the box. And right now, nobody is taking a seat for the Blades, so a power play is on the horizon for the Blades. Faceoff comes to the far circle and their enemy ice. Eels get the 200-foot clearance. So interference is the official verdict against Gage Dill. Junior Blades 2 for 4 on the man advantage thus far this season. Junior Blades spark it out in front of that Florida Eels bench. Blake Bennett carrying it to the far corner. Stroked aside by Tristan Roos, and Roos ships it down in the direction of Keegan Wise. Wise props up the puck to the near end of the goal line. 1:15 left on the Junior Blades 5-on-4. 3:13 to play in the first period with the score 1-1 in this premier game between the Eels and the Blades. Pappas puts the brakes on for half wall. Goes up top to Clyde Lindholm. Lindholm's wrist shot banked aside by Jake Court. Physicality continues to keep upping as we proceed to play. Breakaway for TJ Zebley. Low slot forehander and a stoppage, but it goes in. There's no official call and it's waved off. TJ Zebley said it went across the goal mouth, but the head referee said otherwise, and it remains 1-1. At first, Keegan Wise was sitting on top of the disc from the far post, and somehow it must have got past him. The head referee said he secured it. So no goal for TJ Zebley. He takes the face-off to the far wall. Scattered away by Jake Court on the near corner. Another 2-on-2 for it. Players jockeying back and forth. Junior Blades loosen it up, courtesy of Cameron Cruddo. Cruddo sorts it for half wall. Andrew Frost backing him up along the corner. He goes vertical. Breakaway for the Eels, Jake Court. Court right circle, but the Junior Blades reinforcements get there, and Jake Court absolutely lays out a man. Blake Bennett jumped right in front of Court, and Court made sure he had the last laugh. Final 2 minutes of the first period. Mad scramble in front of O'Gwen, and the Eels find relief along the neutral zone. Hand off to Andrew Frost. Frost give and go to Woodridge, and he hits the ice with Clement Espinosa on the giving end. Tyler Gay centers it, wrist shot save, rebound, and Keegan Wise with some more robbery. And players crowd together along the end glass. What's been interesting about this game is that you could feel the intensity right off of the opening puck drop. In the Elite game earlier this evening, it took a while for the back and forth hits to really build up. You didn't see much of it in the first period, but by the second period it was quite evident. And this game, these two teams wasting no time getting at each other. Near side circle draw, won by Matt Scribner of the Junior Blades. Incomplete pass, floats on down to Liam O'Gwen. Clement Espinosa retrieving for the Eels. He forwards it to Tyler Gay. Gay puts the puck airborne behind Wise's net. Wise dunks it up the far side. Clamored after in the middle circle by Trevor Voida. Voida puts the puck in the sky, and it's caught on the left-handed glove of Wise. Wise keeps the puck in action, and Joey Fada just barely able to avoid a sandwich hit between two different Eels. Junior Blades get multiple men around the slot, but nothing comes in the Liam O'Gwen's direction. 40 seconds until your first intermission. It's 1-1. Propelled in front of the penalty box. Cade Swigert gives the Eels a recovery. Cameron Cruddo taking a 360 along the left circle. And a turn away given by TJ Zebley. Zebley darts a shot on, and Keegan Wise tucks the puck into his glove. So both teams will get their last line change of the period. And when it comes to the offense, Eels have really had a man up, so to speak, as they lead in shots on net 14-4. But they just haven't been able to find the edge when it comes to goals. 4 point for Gage McNeish. McNeish sends it high and into the mesh. Junior Blades benches getting some amusement out of that shot. Another face-off coming to Wise's left. Justice Shulkin leaning in for the Eels against Weingartner of the Blades. Weingartner gets the best of Shulkin. Eels keep it across. McNeish with 3 seconds to shoot. Tries to hammer it on, but it goes wide left. And that is all she wrote for your opening period of play, where your score is 1-1 between the Florida Eels Premier team and the Florida Junior Blades. We will take a break and come back with the start of your second period from Hertz Arena in Estero. You're tuned in to the Florida Eels Broadcast Network. It is time to begin your second period of action in this premier game between the Florida Eels and the Florida Junior Blades. Your score is 1-1. Eels skating from right to left across your computer screen. Make that left to right. Junior Blades moving from right to left. Immediate wrist shot coming off the tape of Carson Weingartner from the far point. That goes over the head of Liam O'Gwen. And the Eels chugging on out the center ice. Demid Podrazov clashing back and forth with Cly Lindholm. Lindholm with a rink-wide feed in front of the Florida Eels benches. That gets turned away by Demid Podrazov. Podrazov to the high slot. Tried to backhand it over and Gage Dill's direction, but he wasn't open. Puck rotates around Keegan Wise's net, and the Junior Blades work it out from there. Cameron Cruddo gets turned aside. Ryan Gural with some defensive work as a forward. But the Junior Blades have another 2-on-2 coming from the near circle. Shot in front of the goal. Cameron Cruddo found half the net wide open, and he flung it straight in from the far post to make it 2-1 Blades. 59 seconds into the period. And the Florida Eels tonight have just not been able to start the period on a strong note. Junior Blades are able to capitalize just moments into the first period to draw first blood, and it's the same thing in period 2. Jake Court trying to jump into the direction of Keegan Wise. His shot goes wide off to the right. Keegan Wise keeps it across the blue line from the near point. Big pile. And Keegan Wise's direction is able to hang on. So Cruddo's goal is announced as unassisted. And this faceoff comes off to Wise's left. Tristan Roos takes the face-off of the Eels and comes up big as he prompts it back with a wrist shot by Ryan Gural, and that leaves a scuff off of the backboards. Meanwhile, Tristan Roos regathering at the low slot, pops it up top to Trevor Voida, and his shot goes off of the backboards as well. To the far hash marks, it's Zach Pappas ringing it out to center. Lombardi not able to cleanly play it. And the Florida Eels take control from behind Liam O'Gwen, their goaltender. Popped up to the near point. Ryan Gural forces out the mid-rink with a possible 2-on-1 if the Eels hurry. Man wide open with a shot. And did it go in? Let's take a look. The net came off of the moorings. It appears that the puck did go in. And let's take a look. A whole lot of confusion and a lot of pointing from the officiating crew. Once more, Keegan Wise kicked off the net from the far post. And then the net came off, but it appears that the goal will not count, and that is confirmed with a face-off coming to the far circle. The Eels players were celebrating from around the end wall, fans cheering as well, but this will not go their way. Near hash marks for Trenton Cleveland. Cleveland backs it up to the blue line. Mikhail Melikov waiting for it from there. Melikov with a backhanded pass wide off to Wise's left side. Melikov reunited with it in the right wing circle. Puck pops up on the scramble and out of play. 17:41 to go in the second. It's 2-1 Eels. Make that 2-1 Blades leading over the Eels. Justin Marazek leaning into the draw for the Eels, and he comes up short as Matt Walters beat him to the punch along the right corner. Rink-wide feed by Walters. Ends up in Melikov's clutches. Melikov's for hash marks. Gets outdone by Matt Scribner. Scribner tried to go rink wide, redirected by Podrazov. Big shot ripped over the crossbar, and Wise gathers the rebound. So the Eels continue their offensive attack. They lead in shots on goal 15-5, but they're down by 1 goal. Face off to the right dasher. Marazek comes out victorious in the draw this time. Sweeps it to the low slot, but Melikov was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Eels keep working. Right point save made. Rebound will not come as Justin Marazek wasn't able to pull the trigger from the near point. Brief 2-on-2 behind the net. Yanked up the near boards by the Blades. Kept in by Justin Marazek. He's hanging off on a line change alongside Clement Espinosa. Far side corner. Oh, Marazek came streaking in. Make that Luke Jankowskis. And he ended up tripping under his own feet. Jake Cord at the far point. Goes down the left wall to Melikov, and Melikov gave it right on over as the Blades have a breakaway. Low slot forehander, and it's punched away by Liam O'Gwen. Carson Weingartner was all alone, and he just couldn't get the best of O'Gwen. Eels trying to fight the puck out of their own zone. Right circle, it's Matt Clift going across for Tyler Gay. Gay nearly avoids a hit, places it onto the tape of Etienne Castengay. Castengay pushes it in front of the net, and an odd carom puts the puck off of the end wall. Castengay reunited with it, clashing back and forth with Clyde Lindholm to the far goal line. Lindholm waiting with Castengay on his back. Eventually pushes it out to center. 2-on-1 for the Blades. Right circle. This is put on. And the save produced by Liam O'Gwen. He's not able to hang on. Junior Blades intercepted back out at the center red by Zach Pappas. And the blow of the whistle is given. Junior Blades caught offside. 15:30 left in the second. And it's 2-1 Blades. And it appears that there is a Florida Eels player shaken up along the near goal line. We cannot see who it is, but we will step aside and reassess the situation. We played 4.5 minutes of your second period. Eels down by 1 on your home for Eels hockey. 15:30 to play in the second period. 2-1 Junior Blades lead over the Florida Eels Premier team. And we are back after a Florida Eels injury. We were not able to see exactly who the player was as he was immediately taken off the ice in the Florida Eels own zone. We didn't have a very good vantage point from the Hertz Arena radio booth where we are off to the right side of the ice rink. We don't have the traditional center ice view, but we are off to one side of the rink, so we weren't able to see along that near corner with an obstructed view. But as we mentioned, we will give you an update as soon as we have one. Florida Eels have a face-off in their own zone to the near side. Eels win it. Trevor Voida plugging it up the far wall. He was searching for Demid Podrazov, but the pass was a mile away. Zach Pappas clamoring after it, nearby the penalty box boards, and offside is assessed against the Eels. Today represents the second of 3 consecutive matchups between the Eels and Blades. The first game took place in Fort Myers last Sunday when the Eels survived a back-and-forth affair with the Blades, 6-4. Gage Dill, victorious in the face-off for the Eels. He goes straight to work, but his shot goes wide off to the right side. A little bit of puck luck for Keegan Wise. Junior Blades not able to form an odd-man rush the other way. Pappas searches down the puck into Junior Blades' ice. Gage Dill almost picked it off, but he had the puck flop off of his tape. Junior Blades back along the far point. Weingartner knocks it down to the corner. Andrew Frost struggling back and forth with Podrazov. Podrazov whistles it up towards the far point. Almost a breakaway, but it was diffused by Ashton King, who was able to provide the pickoff. TJ Zebley knocks it in midair, and it's connected for Podrazov. Man on the opposite end. That's Zebley, and the rink-wide feed is incomplete. Costly turnovers by the Florida Eels in the early goings of the second period as we have played 6 minutes in your middle stanza. It's 2-1 Blades. Another offside called against the Eels. And that, in the later stages of the game, can end up being an absolute killer in terms of momentum. So the faceoff comes out to the neutral zone red dot to the near side of the broadcast location. Bailey Kaiser beats out Tristan Roost in a draw, but Roost rinses it back on into the Florida Eels end zone. Andrew Frost struggles in the near side circle. Eels get puck possession out at the center red. Gage McNeish going in a rink-wide feed to Jake Court. Gage McNeish backpedaling towards the Eels' blue line and yanks it ahead. Wrist shot, attempt from Tristan Roos. He's not able to pull the trigger with a defender right in front. Caught out of midair by McNeish at the near point. He goes right down Main Street for Tristan Roos. Roos trying to jam it in front. Keegan Wise comes out as the victor once more. Play keeps on rolling in front of the Florida Eels bench. Able to get some room is Tristan Roos. Roos centers it for McNeish, and the shot went off the glove of Keegan Wise. McNeish and Court trading possession along the right wing side, rimmed around the other end for Gage McNeish, and the Junior Blades get some relief out to center. Nasty hit behind Liam O'Gwen's net, the Florida Eels goaltender. Matt Lombardi continues to fight for possession along the near circle. Tyler Gay leading the charge on the 2-on-2 for the Eels. Far side circle, drops it back, wrist shot by Justin Marazek, and the 5-hole save is produced. Junior Blades with a 200-foot dump down. Liam O'Gwen comes out of his cage to play it. Rumbled up the near glass by Mikhail Melikov. Melikov steps his way into the near circle, takes a 360, wrist shot hits a man in front. Marazek gets hit against the end boards, and Lucas Humble tries to keep the streak going for the Eels. Humble with a forehander, and Keegan Wise plays it perfectly for the stoppage. Eels continue to search for the equalizer in a quick-moving second period. We thank you for tuning in and for making us a part of your Friday evening. Nick Rush giving you the play-by-play on the Florida Eels Broadcast Network. Face-off coming along the far side and the attacking end of the Eels. Gage still prompts it to the low slot, nobody home. He was searching for TJ Zebley. Trevor Voida with a pick-off in the right circle, and the Junior Blades defense just too strong. Zebley, surrounded by 3 different men, turns around. Feeder in the low slot for Demid Podrazov doesn't work out as Wise applies glove to puck. It's been a nice evening of hockey in Estero. Game 2 of a doubleheader. Game 1 was an elite division bout between the Eels and Blades, which saw the Eels prevail by a final score of 8-2. Drawn in near circle. Voida the first one to touch up on it as the Eels continue to push the pressure on the Keegan Wise. Drubbed around the cage. And it's touched up to the midpoint for Brigante. Brigante stuffed it down low for TJ Zebley, but he couldn't put the play to bed. The Eels find themselves back in their own ice. Brigante going long distance. TJ Zebley almost ran into his own teammate Demid Podrazov, but it works out for the better. Trevor Voida onside across the blue line. Far circle, Podrazov yanks it on, and Keegan Wise puts it into the pads. 10 minutes and 59 seconds until your second intermission. 2-1 in favor of the Blades. Wise with the face-off to his right. Junior Blades win it, and boy was that much needed. Blake Bennett spins the puck out to center and has enough friction to get down to Liam O'Gwen in the far corner. O'Gwen, a risky move chasing after that puck with Joey Fata just feet away from him. Joey Fata now chugging after it the near half wall. Little 4-man jam breaks apart. Carson Weingartner in the right circle. No shot comes. Luke Jankowskis applying pressure along the left side of the blue line. Blake Bennett with plenty of room to work with at the right point. Eventually the puck takes an odd hop on him, And the Eels get it turned over back into their favor. It's Jankowskis handing it off to Espinos. Espinos back to Jankowskis across the neutral zone. Jankowskis with running room in the right circle. Tried to center it to Tyler Gay. Close but no cigar. Cameron Cruddo puts the puck airborne to the far corner, Eels' own ice. Tyler Gay gets ran into by Joey Fata. Fata attempting the sharp angle shot, which soars over Liam O'Gwen's head. It's continued to go back and forth between these two squads. Andrew Frost trying to go long distance with the slapper. Liam O'Gwen squeezes the pads together, and the Eels dump it on down. So the icing is delivered. We've seen a lot of Tristan Roost in tonight's game for the Eels. He's off to a hot start on the 2020-21 season after stringing together a pair of goals and an assist in his first 2 games of the campaign. In last Sunday's game against the Blades, Roost scored the opening goal just 9 seconds into regulation. Battle off to O'Gwen's left side. And the puck ricochets onto the Florida Eels bench off to my right side. Both teams getting a wholesale edit to the lines on the ice. Officials elect to take this drop of the puck to the center ice line. Trevor Voida in his near circle, D-to-D pass across to Gage McNeish. Trevor Voida coughs it up at the near corner, but Ryan Garral able to provide some insurance. Voida narrowly avoids the hit from Ashton King behind the net of Liam O'Gwen. Voida trying to anchor the puck out of the Eels' own ice, but he's stuck along the 4 hash marks. Blake Bennett gathering at the right side of the blue line, takes a slap shot, which leaves a scuff off of the backboards. Sharp angle opportunity from Cameron Cruddo, and that goes awry. Trevor Voida not able to get it past Cameron Cruddo. Cruddo taken down by Brigante. Those two locked up behind the play as the puck is all the way down to Keegan Wise, the Junior Blades netminder. Icing is negated. Shot point blank, but Court couldn't put it in. Blake Bennett smacks the puck out across the middle of the ice. As Ronnie Brigante was heading off onto the bench, he stumbled a bit over the door. Thankfully, he is okay. Jonathan Cooper steering along the near dasher in the Junior Blades attacking zone. Gage McNeish tears it out to center. Ryan Garral almost had a breakaway, but as he wasn't able to cleanly play the pass, he lost his stick in the process. Junior Blades with a 2-on-1, 4 circle tucked in front, and Matt Lombardi had no space to work with. Back the other direction, odd man rush for the Eels if they hurry. Jake Court lets it fly, and he hit the back glass. Rebounder from Cade Swigert goes in between his skates. Shots on goal now read 20-8 in the Florida Eels' favor. Junior Blades push it down towards Liam O'Gwen, and he leaves it alone for the icing against the Blades. This game between the Florida Eels Premier team and the Florida Junior Blades, it is game 1 on a 2-game weekend series. These two teams will be back at it here at Hertz Arena 3:15 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday afternoon. You can catch that game right here on the Florida Eels Broadcast Network as the Florida Eels are back in the end zone. Massive slap shot from Mikhail Melikov. He's dumped down from behind by Jonathan Cooper. Trenton Cleveland whiffing on the puck in his own side of the rink. Lucas Humble scatters it across the center circle. Bailey Kaiser taking over for the Blades, and having to kick the puck away is Lucas Humble after he lost his stick. A penalty is called. It is delayed, and it's going against the Blades. High slot ripper coming from Melikov, and he goes wide left of the cage. Finally, the whistle is given. A slashing call, which puts the Eels back on to 5-on-4 for 2 minutes. So Matt Lombardi will serve time in the penalty box, and this is exactly what the Eels needed in their quest to tie up the game. They're down 2-1, 6:17 is all that remains in your second. Big tie up in the near circle. Junior Blades rocketed on down towards Liam O'Gwen. Bailey Kaiser does the honors. Gage McNeish with a handoff to Tristan Roost. Roost at the center red. Down to the right circle. Pauses at the near corner. Man behind the net, that's Jake Court. Court looking around for options. Chucks it back to the midpoint for McNeish. McNeish off to his left side is Podrazov. Podrazov lets the shot go. St. Maid rebounder along the far post. And Keegan Wise says not today as he freezes the puck. 1:25 left on the penalty to the Blades, Matt Lombardi. Draw coming to the far glass. Eels win the draw. Gage McNeish splitting the blue line. Drops it down to the near goal line to Tristan Roos. Court stick goes high into the air. He has to retrieve it into blue paint. Meanwhile, McNeish still steering. Drops it left circle. Shot hits the net. And it's kicked away by Wise. Back up the far hash marks for Demid Podrazov. Behind the net, he has Court. Court with a centering drive. Too much congestion by the Junior Blades defense. Big rebounder comes off the chest of Wise. Reloaded for McNeish at the midpoint. Tristan Roost takes the puck off of the right wing half wall. Far point, Roost reunited with it, and his shot goes too high. 35 seconds ago on the Florida Eels power play, they have 2 men behind Wise's net. So a little bit of a misplacement, but it's Gage McNeish straddling the blue line. And he knocks it down towards the near goal line. Tristan Roos struggling with possession. Eventually gets it back up for McNeish. McNeish lets it go, and a goal! It's Ryan Gurrell on the redirect from the far post. And it's a power play strike to make it 2-2. This comes at 15:29 of the second period, and the Florida Eels finally made it happen. Gage McNeish took the wrist shot through traffic. Ryan Gurrell with the rebounder through the wickets of Keegan Wise and in. And the Junior Blades just could not clear the puck whatsoever while they were down a man. So they pay the price, and Matt Lombardi is out of the sin bin. Eels reset in their own territory. Gage Dill in the right circle, and he was pressured up by the body of Andrew Frost. Frost gives it back on over for TJ Zebley. Zebley sidesteps a man out to the neutral zone. Trevor Voida down the near wing. Over to the far circle, he transpires. Puts the brakes onto goal line. Wrist shot coming in the blue paint and swatted aside by Wise's paddle. 2-on-1 for the Blades. Matt Walters leading it, but too far ahead was his teammate Weingartner. So a brutal offside call going against the Blades, and what was a stellar opportunity to give them back the edge. 3:55 until the intermission. 2-2 in the second period. Puck is plastered back over to the far circle, Eels own ice. Trenton Cleveland turns it back around the end wall. He got it over James McGovern's stick. So the Eels hold on. Clement Espinas trying to turn it high. And this hit a high stick off of Andrew Frost. So Andrew Frost guilty of a high stick, and we have a face-off outside the Eels' ice. Mikhail Melikov and Andrew Frost clashing their sticks back and forth with one another along that left wing. But officials keep the play going as that gets a little chuckle out of some fans in attendance. Clement Espinas walking his way up the far boards, and he lets the puck roll to the center red. Matt Scribner taking over for the Blades. Pauses at the circle where he's overtaken by Justin Marazek. 2-on-2 battle behind Liam O'Gwen's net. Ripped over to the right corner. Trenton Cleveland has a beat on it, but he's not able to do anything more. Midpoint for Matt Walters. Walters gets a shot on, and there is a Junior Blades player shaken up. He is holding his mouth as he skates back to the bench, and that's Andrew Frost. Meanwhile, the other direction, the Eels with a shot. Grand opportunity by Mikhail Melikov, but he couldn't get it on from the high slot. Meanwhile, point blanker and a goal! Tyler Gay with his first goal of the season. That puts the Eels ahead for the first time of the night. It's 3-2. Just another point blanker. Both goals for the Eels in this period have looked awfully similar between Ryan Gural and Tyler Gay. They got up close in the space of Keegan Wise, and they made it happen. That time, Gay pushed it over the left shoulder and in of the netminder Wise. And although this wasn't the case for a majority of the game, the Junior Blades are now working from behind. TJ Zebley hustling after it at the center ice line. Eels backed into their own territory. Or a circle for Cade Swigert. Swigert tape to tape with TJ Zebley across the neutral zone. Low slot for Gage Dill, and he's ran off of the puck by Matt Lombardi. Puck wobbling in towards O'Gwen. And he lets his teammate Cade Swigert take it instead. Swigert forwarding the puck to Demid Podrazov. Podrazov onside along the far point. Centered for Dill in the low slot. He's pushed down by Cameron Crotto. And retrieving in front of the Florida Eels bench, TJ Zebley. Zebley in front of penalty box boards. He takes down Ashton King in the process. And the Florida Eels trying to get something going with 1 minute 30 seconds to go in the second period. Eels lead 3-2, and they have an icing call, a very controversial one at that, as TJ Zebley was winning the foot race around the end boards. And Gage Dill really voicing his opinions to one of the linemen. Face off to the near side. Eels stuck on their own end. Immediate wrist shot off the tape of Clyde Lindholm, and it's gobbled up by O'Gwen. Line changes coming for the Eels as they send out Trevor Voida, Gage McNeish, Jake Court, Ryan Gural, and last but not least, Tristan Roost. Ryan Gural turned away at the last second when he was on the ice, and he switches places with Luke Jankowskis. So Gural remains off, but there's a bit of line change confusion with another blast coming to Liam O'Gwen. He squeezes tight on the left-hand side. Another face-off won by Tristan Roost of the Eels, the former Junior Blade who spent the past 3 seasons with this organization in Estero. Kyle Lindholm quickly gets it off his hands from the near point, and Jake Court threads the puck out to center ice with 1 minute to go in the second period. Eels looking to extend their 1-goal advantage. Puck is whacked over to the nearest circle. Trevor Voida waiting for it. He airs it out to that center red, and we have another halt in play. It appears it was a high stick call, which takes us to the face-off in front of the Florida Eels bench. Cade Swigert in mid-rink goes down right circle. Clyde Lindholm on his back. Lindholm forces the turn away, and it's Frost back over to the near point. Frost taken down by Clement Espinosa in the corner, and that gets the Eels bench riled up with 25 seconds until the final buzzer sounds in the second. It's Cade Swigert, even up 2-on-2. Tries to dangle his way past Clyde Lindholm to no avail. Frost going head-to-head with Peter Haas. Breakaway for the Blades, but Liam O'Gwen punches it aside. 5 seconds to go in the period. Eels eat up the remainder of the clock, but the Blades are offside, and the clock runs down. So after 2 periods of play, your score, the Florida Eels 3 and the Junior Blades 2. We will step aside and come back with the start of period number 3 from Hertz Arena in Southwest Florida. The third period of tonight's Premier game is underway, where the Florida Eels lead the Junior Blades 3-2. Eels skating from right to left across your computer screen. Blades moving from left to right. Massive hit put on in the early going by TJ Zebley, and that gets some stick taps from the Eels benches off to the right side. Junior Blades trying to turn it away to the far side circle. Cade Swigert with a nice steal leads to a breakaway for Zebley, and he rams into Keegan Wise. The net is dislodged, and Wise appears to be shaken up. TJ Zebley getting back onto his feet, and so does Wise after a couple of moments. Florida Eels looking for the organizational sweep. They defeated the Junior Blades in the Elite Division earlier tonight by the count of 8-2. Eels Premier team leading 3-2 as we begin your third period of action. Face-off coming near side red dot. Eels win it as the puck is dropped back to Trevor Voida in front of the penalty box. Rammed away to Andrew Frost, and Frost dumps it to Liam Gwen. Liam O'Gwen flies it up the near side to meet Podrazov, collecting it for the Eels. Rink wide to TJ Zebley. Zebley across the blue line onside, shreds over to the right circle, and Carson Weingartner puts Zebley's drive to an end. Voida back with it in front of the Eels bench. Frost not able to hold on. Zebley with too much power, playing some defense as a forward. Gage Dill crawling in. He's rammed into the end glass, and he is shaken up behind the play. He works his way back up to both feet. Thankfully, but no doubt about it, he is feeling that collision. Liam O'Gwen catches the puck out of the sky as we have a whistle. 1 minute 30 seconds into your third. Eels up by 1. Let's take a look at how the USPHL Florida division currently looks. Tampa Bay Juniors are the only team in the division undefeated with a record of 2-0. They are currently playing their game against the Charleston Colonials in Tampa. Colonials and Atlanta Mad Hatters, along with the Florida Eels, these are all 1-1 teams with 1 win and 1 loss after last weekend. And the Florida Junior Blades are still looking for their first victory as they are 0-2. Jake Court, middle of the blue line in the Eels attacking zone. He transforms to the right circle. And we have some sort of scene down towards the near corner. It appears that a player is shaken up. And indeed, that is the case. Zach Pappas, slow to get back up from a hit in the corner, and thankfully he is making his way back to the bench under his own strength. The penalty box door is open on the Junior Blades side. We will wait and see what that is all about. That's because the trainer was over near the penalty box area, so she had to vacate the area to take a look at Zach Pappas. Other than that, it remains 5-on-5. Shots on goal, 28 for the Eels, 12 for the Blades. As of right now, you have players gathered around their respective benches. The three members of the officiating crew are in the right circle, Junior Blades ice. And we're not too sure exactly what the issue is here. Zach Pappas being taken care of on the benches. But as of right now, it is unknown as to whether or not there are going to be any penalties as a result of that collision. Right now, the Eels players have made their way back out onto the ice from the benches. Junior Blades remain circled around in front of head coach Rob Weingartner. So as this gets sorted out, we will step aside and let you know what is discovered. You're tuned in to the Florida Eels Broadcast Network. We have played 1 minute and 59 seconds of your third period in this Premier game. 3-2, the Eels lead over the Junior Blades. And the Eels are about to be down a man for the next 5 minutes. The penalty is officially given to Peter Haas, and he is currently not in the penalty box. So as of right now, it appears that he has left the game for the Eels. Meanwhile, the power play is underway. 15 seconds in are the Blades. So it is confirmed as a misconduct by the public address system. But the Eels have some work to do defensively as they look to defend their 1-goal advantage. Andrew Frost stops in the right wing circle, rims it around to the forwards. At the left point, Clyde Lindholm strings it past TJ Zebley. Zebley able to gather control, and he slaps it on out to the neutral zone. Andrew Frost banks it on in towards Liam O'Gwen, the Florida Eels goaltender. And Jake Court comes in with a slap shot on to Keegan Wise. He puts the pads together as play rolls on. Blake Bennett across the center red, going right down Main Street to the low slot, but Cade Swigert able to finesse it away and poke it on down to Keegan Wise. Wise sets up Zach Pappas around the net. Pappas coming up the near wing, out the center ice, goes rink wide to Andrew Frost. Frost finds a man in between the rings. That's Weingartner. Weingartner with not enough time to retrieve it. 3 minutes, 20 seconds left on the major power play for the Junior Blades. Big blast coming from the far hash marks by Ashton King, and that goes into the mesh netting. 16-16 left in the third, 3-2, Eels lead. Head referee stopping by the scorer's table to give a quick word of instruction. And what we see now is that Ryan Garral is headed off of the Florida Eels bench, and he is going into the penalty box to serve the infraction on Peter Haas. Keep in mind, Peter Haas was guilty of the 5-minute major, and he was also taken out of the game on a misconduct as a result. So Ryan Gural will serve the remaining 3 minutes of this 5-on-4 for the Junior Blades. Weingartner shreds to the far side circle. He has 1 goal on the evening thus far. Pulls the trigger that hits O'Gwen's shoulder and goes over the end boards. Liam O'Gwen looking mighty confident throughout the course of this Friday evening. Keep in mind it is his first appearance in an Eels uniform after being signed to the program earlier this week. Face-off coming to O'Gwen's right side. Immediately backhander placed on by Jonathan Cooper. And O'Gwen puts glove to puck. 2:48 left on the Eels penalty kill. We played 4 minutes and 12 seconds of this final period of play in the Elite game. Junior Blades hanging it up top. Blake Bennett knuckles a forehander on. It's engulfed in traffic, and the Eels twist it on down the rink. Blake Bennett giving it another try for the Junior Blades. Switches left wing circle, and a shot misses the net. Bennett trying to get back to it. Cade Swigert holding him away at the right corner. Alone in the near circle is Clyde Lindholm. Lindholm getting taken down, and a penalty is called against the Eels. It's a delayed penalty, and play keeps on going as Cameron Cruddo hogs it up in the far circle. Cruddo swooping in. It's jammed away by Tristan Roos. And for the next 2 minutes, we'll have a 5-on-3 for the Junior Blades. Ryan Gural still spending the remaining pair of minutes in the box. And Gage Dill joins him. Dill slams the door shut in frustration, and the Junior Blades have a prime chance to even up the score. Face off along the right dasher, and the Junior Blades have it butted out to center ice. So Andrew Frost goes out to retrieve it. Elbowing is the verdict against Gage Dill. Centered for Joey Fada. He's not able to locate the feed, and the puck ends up tipping out of play. And it's fascinating how the 2 penalties line up between the 5-minute major to Peter Haas and the 2-minute minor for Gage Dill. They each have 1 minute 40 seconds remaining. Clyde Lindholm jumps over right circle, having to work past Clement Espinosa, the defenseman. Clyde Lindholm splitting the blue line, lets it fly, and that goes over the end glass. Eels sending out a fresh new line consisting of Cade Swigert, Demid Podrazov, and Gage McNeish. So once the 5-on-3 ends for the Eels, they'll go straight back to 5-on-5 full strength. But Clyde Lindholm swoops to the far circle. Wrist shot banked away off the tape of Demid Podrazov. Frost back on that right side of the blue line. Tried to go for the rink-wide feed, but he missed. Tries again, connects with Lindholm. Lindholm knuckles the shot, and Liam O'Gwen tucks it into the breadbasket. 1:03 left on the Junior Blades 5-on-3. 14:04 to go in the third. And the Eels lead the Blades 3-2. Frost back at the middle of the point. Walks on in, shot goes away. Frost reunited with it. Centers it to Lindholm. Lindholm spreads it to the left circle. Cameron Cruddo not able to pick it out of his skates, but he keeps it away from Jake Court for the Eels. Point blanker coming on the way from the far post, and that doesn't reach Liam O'Gwen. Jake Court held up from behind. No call is made, much to the dismay of the Eels bench, but they do get the dump down, which they desperately needed with 25 seconds to go on their penalty kill. Lindholm treading out the center, give and go to Joey Fada in the near side circle. At the right hash, Fada gets stymied away by TJ Zebley. Junior Blades barely keep it across the line. Shot from the near post goes a little too high, and we go back to full strength. The Eels survive the 5-on-3 as here's a one-time blast taken away. It's a 2-on-1 for the Eels. Dill, near circle shot and a goal! Gage Dill scores right as the Eels head back to full strength, and the Eels extend their lead to a pair, 4-2. Gage Dill, you could tell he's been filled with emotion all throughout the course of the evening, and he finally notches that first goal on the Friday night to put his team up by 2, their largest advantage of the evening. The Eels have now scored 3 unanswered. Andrew Frost pivots the puck to the far corner. Eels stuck on their own side. Ryan Garral blasted out to the neutral zone. Could be a 2-on-1 if Roost hurries. Side shuffles the court, and the shot had too much mustard behind it. Cade Swigert taken down at the far hash marks, but he's able to direct it behind the cage. Jake Court dumps down a man. Slap shot coming from Cade Swigert, and it's readjoined in that left circle by Clement Espinos. Right now you have Ryan Garral shaken up. He's holding his mouth, and there's a delayed penalty called as we have the clock stopped. This infraction goes against the Junior Blades. And this is the last thing that they needed, all of a sudden down by a pair. Jared Salmonen taking the seat for 2 minutes. Face off to the near boards. Junior Blades will thread it on down to O'Gwen. O'Gwen connects to TJ Zebley. Zebley works it on out to center ice along the near wing. Curls to the left circle. Puts the brakes on, and he hands it off to Justin Marazek. Marazek feeds it out to the low slot. Slapped out to the neutral zone by Andrew Frost. Cade Swigert pressured by Frost at the Eels' blue line, and the Junior Blades try to get into the end zone to no avail. Eventually, the Blades do get the dump in with 1:20 on the Florida Eels power play to go. Gage Dill circling around at his own near dasher. 11 minutes, 10 seconds to play in the third. 4-2 Eels lead. Drop pass in the right circle to Ryan Garral. Garral dumped down by Andrew Frost. Creeping in, low slot, and the shot was whiffed on by Garral. So O'Gwen sets up Cade Swigert from the far goal line. Swigert gets out to the center red, and that's as far as he could get before he's picked off, courtesy of Joey Fada. Fada hurls it on into O'Gwen, and Gage McNeish quarterbacks a brand new drive to Demid Podrazov. Podrazov near hash. Relocated to Tristan Roost at the far half board. Slap shot taken by Gage McNeish at the midpoint. Roost with some opening to work with, but the puck is lodged in between the skates of Keegan Wise. We have 16 seconds on this Junior Blades power play. Jared Salmonen getting ready to vacate the sin bin. This face-off coming to the right wing. Tristan Roost wins it for the Eels. Demid Podrazov with a shot on the left side of the blue line. Couldn't get anything going. Podrazov sweeps it over far circle for McNeish. McNeish centers it for Swigert and a goal! Cade Swigert with the power play strike. Eels go up 5-2. 10:05 left in the third. A very interesting development on that play, as initially Cade Swiger took his shot and it went off of the defenseman. However, he was able to regather at the center of the point, and he just drove it through traffic and past Keegan Wise. The Eels have now scored 4 consecutive. We're halfway through the third period, and it's Clement Espinoss starting up a brand new opportunity. In front of the penalty box, Mikhail Melikov shuffles it to Gage McNeish. McNeish dropped past to Melikov, and it's a kick save produced by Wise. Left circle, this one lasered on by Espinoss, but he's not able to convert. Darted to the near point. Trevor Voida with a blast off the backboards, and the puck ricochets out to center. Junior Blades not able to get out of their own zone, as Matt Walters is wide open along the near half boards. Walters trying to go coast to coast. He's held up from behind by Swiger, as there was an abandoned stick in the Florida Eels' own zone. It eventually snapped in half, and it will remain out there until the next whistle. Blake Bennett sorts the puck to the far point. Waits around for a moment and goes rink wide. Andrew Frost, breakaway, but it wasn't played cleanly by Weingartner. An absolute momentum killer for the Blades as they are down by 3. Poked out to the neutral zone. It's Blake Bennett of the Blades at the center red. Airs it over the head of Liam O'Gwen, and the Eels will take over. Tyler Gay hands it off to Luke Jankowskis. Jankowskis shares it to Tyler Gay off to the left side. And Etienne Castonguay is sandwiched in between a pair of men. Trevor Voida nearby the Florida Eels bench. He eventually connects to Castonguay. Castonguay has it finessed away by Cruddo. He goes point blank, but Liam O'Gwen shuts him down. So finally, the abandoned stick, which we mentioned moments ago, is returned to that Eels bench. And this faceoff comes to O'Gwen's left. Blake Bennett trying to go all or nothing from the right point. And the puck is slithered out to the neutral zone. Demid Podrazov has the pass too far ahead to play it. And icing is given. And that was another tough situation that the Florida Eels bench didn't approve of, because Demid Podrazov was ahead, winning the foot race back towards the end wall. And he is voicing his displeasure with the head official as he skates back to the Florida Eels zone off to our right. Trevor Voida, vertical for Gage Dill. Dill stashes it across the center circle. It's a 2-on-2 for the Eels. Dill, far circle, not able to get a second goal of the game. Demid Podrazov rackets it up the far boards. His pass goes wrong. He was searching for Ronnie Brigante. Demid Podrazov receives a little through pass. He's over in the left circle, and he's almost ran into the wall by Matt Scribner. Backhanded pass goes into Joey Fada's direction. He'll run back towards Liam O'Gwen. And it seems as if whenever the Junior Blades can grab the puck, they just can't put anything on net. 34-19, shots on net going to the Eels. Eels lead 5-2 with 6:53 until this Premier game is all said and done. Clement Espinoss slides past Jared Salmonen, and Frost comes back up the left glass. Pressured over to Clyde Lindholm. Lindholm over to O'Gwen's left side, and his wrist shot engulfed in traffic. Rebounder punch behind the net. Third time is not the charm. Ryan Garral giving the Eels relief back out to center. 3-on-1 for the Eels. Tristan Roos near hash marks. Backhanded pass to Garral. Shot, and a split save by Keegan Wise. Eels earn it back in their own territory. Cade Swigert behind the cage. Jake Court treading up the near wall. He's tape to tape with Ryan Garral. Garral to the far side corner as he pushes off Blake Bennett. Garral gets beat out by Bennett. And Bennett curls his way out in front of the penalty box boards. Trevor Voida picks him off. And Voida lets it go all the way down the rink. So no icing is given. Jake Court heading off on the line change. He switches places with Mikhail Melikov. Outletted the Cameron Cruddo. Pass had too much power behind it. And this is lobbed back towards the Junior Blades left glass. You can really start to see the fatigue between these two squads as the Blades pick up an icing call. Turnovers starting to become more prevalent in these final minutes. And it's crazy to think that at one point the Junior Blades are up 2-1. As of right now, it's 5-2 Eels. With the Eels able to develop tremendous momentum dating back to the second. 2-on-2 for the Blades. Lifted off for Joey Fada, and his wrist shot gets whiffed on. Fada back on his feet, only to get taken down once more by Trevor Voida. Fada, far corner. Gets pushed down from behind by Voida, and boy, isn't he just absolutely relentless as a defenseman. Trevor Voida known for his hard-hitting style of play, as this is swatted down to Liam O'Gwen. Eels defenders getting the work done out to the neutral zone. Melikov and Ashton King going up against one another. It's eventually spread out to the scorer's table, where Ryan Garral takes over for the Eels. Garral back along the far boards. Some big physicality breaking out in front of that Eels bench. Nothing more, however, as Etienne Cassinguay really showed some self-restraint. Far point for Gage McNeish. McNeish hammers a shot on. Gets the rebounder his direction. Mikhail Melikov dangling towards the goal line far side. Centering feed to Jankowskis. And his shot didn't have enough accuracy behind it. So the Eels find themselves back on their end. Far corner for Gage McNeish. Switches it across to Cade Swigert. And eventually TJ Zebley gets the touch-up from behind the net. Eels is trying to kill down time. They lead 5-2, exactly 3 minutes showing on the third period clock. TJ Zebley gets past defenders, has a good read from the left circle. Slap shot by Espinosa goes horribly wrong, but the Eels recover from their own blue line. Ronnie Briganti gets yanked down from behind. No call is made as Matt Lombardi getting involved in some physical play. Clement Espinosa mowed down by Matt Woodridge, applying the left shoulder. And finally, the puck goes over the boards from the near point. Things really starting to come to a head. Demid Podrazov and Matt Lombardi going at it at center ice. And for Demid Podrazov, you have to remember, self-control is key. He got involved last Sunday in an altercation, which almost got him suspended for this game. However, that was ultimately reversed. Last Sunday, he was going head-to-head with Matthew Walters. We've seen both Podrazov and Walters with some solid ice time throughout the course of this Friday evening. Weingartner pressures it on to O'Gwen. O'Gwen paddles the puck to the near corner. Lifted to Jake Court in the near side circle. Jake Court out to center ice. Through pass intended to Tristan Roos, but it doesn't work out. Tristan Roos does scoop it up. Near side circle. Cade Swigert with a one-time drive. Not able to find his second goal of the game. Carson Weingartner hustling the other way. Not quick enough to form a breakaway as he had two defenders in front of him. Cade Swigert diffuses the situation down to the last 90 seconds of the game. Ryan Garral exchanging some pushes and shoves with Carson Weingartner, and a linesman gets in between the two of them. Play continues through it all, however. Junior Blades narrowly avoid the offside call. James McGovern, far circle, picked off by Lucas Humble. Humble, near corner, takes down the Junior Blade with him. That's Andrew Frost. And right now, we're just seeing hits back and forth. That seems to be the main goal. And a big shot comes and it's in. Tyler Gay with his second goal of the day. 6-2 Eels with 55 seconds to go. Tyler Gay went pointless during his opening weekend at Tampa Bay and versus the Junior Blades. But in Game 3, he's able to level the scores, so to speak, on his stat sheet, notching a pair of goals. Some more line change confusion for the Eels, but play keeps going. Andrew Frost trying to direct traffic from the front of the penalty box boards. Hooks it to Carson Weingartner, and his shot gets frozen away by Liam O'Gwen. Near corner, Cade Swigert wins the draw for the Eels. Hurled back out across the center circle. Zach Pappas whistles it off to his left side. Blake Bennett ran into the wall. Tyler Gay searching for his third goal of the night. Tried to go off to his right side for Luke Jankowskis, but he was a bit too far behind. 8 seconds to go in the game. Junior Blades, left circle. Eels will eat up the remainder of the time. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your hockey game. And we have some violence after the final whistle. Trevor Voida just absolutely knocks down Andrew Frost. A big pile of players come together in the Eels' near side circle, but Liam O'Gwen vacates his net, and he says that is the night as the Florida Eels beat their arch rival for the second game in a row. Your final score on this Friday evening, 6-2. So it's an organizational sweep for the Florida Eels with Elite and Premier victories. Florida Eels Elite and Premier both 2-1. And they will both be in action right here at Hertz Arena tomorrow. The Florida Eels Premier team wrapping up the weekend against the Junior Blades. 3:15 p.m. puck drop. Catch all of the action right here on the Florida Eels Broadcast Network. But until then, this is Nick Rush saying thank you so much for tuning in. Be safe and have a great rest of your Friday night. One final time, the score, the Florida Eels 6 and the Junior Blades 2. Good night, everybody.